Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, and for the first time this season, our lineup reaction stream, where I'm not actually going to spend too much time waffling today. We're going to get straight into it. The Manchester United team news has dropped, and unless I am mistaken, it is exactly the same as what we saw last weekend, which I think some people are going to like, and I think some people will be a little bit unhappy. I think people would have wanted to see De Ligt in there. I think people may have wanted to see Xerxes as well. So, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your immediate reaction. And while you're doing that, I will get through some of the people in chat. It's good to see you all. Hey, AJ, how's it going? Looking forward to the game. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm really confident today. Really confident. I know Maguire played well, but when do you think we start to bed De Ligt in? I think De Ligt will get on the pitch again today at some point, particularly depending on the game state. If we're a couple of goals up, I could see that. And I think it's just going to keep increasing. He didn't have a preseason, I believe. So I think that's what a lot of it is. I think that's a lot of the issue. Oh, and also, to start the stream, we have 50 gifted memberships from Nuruddin. Again, he done 100 yesterday, by the way. Anyone who weren't here, he donated 100 yesterday and another 50 today. Nuruddin, you're just unbelievable, mate. What, we're like a minute and a half into the stream, and 50 of you guys are now a member because of him. And finally, it's caught up. It's starting to come through. Nuruddin, thank you so much, as always. Guys, you know what to do. Put the love hearts in the chat and say thank you. Show some appreciation. Because you're members because of him, because of his generosity. Let's make it a bit smaller. Yeah, this is the Manchester United team news. What do we reckon? What do we reckon? I can't say I'm particularly shocked. I can't say I'm overly surprised. I believe this is the 11 that I had in my video yesterday. I might be wrong. I know in the stream we come up with something a little bit different, but I can't say I'm surprised. We know that Ten Hag is a manager that likes consistency where he can get it. Last season we never really had that luxury. We had to change team pretty much every week. So I think Ten Hag might be looking at it going, we won last week. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. A lot of these players had pretty good first weeks, I felt. Last weekend. So I think Ten Hag might just be going for consistency just because simply for once he is able to. Normally he doesn't have that luxury. So I think that might be a lot of the thinking here. Would you guys agree with that? It's the wrong lineup? Are you saying I've got it wrong, or are you saying he's picked it wrong? AJ, do you think we will win? I do. We'll come on to score predictions a little bit later on, but I do think we'll win the game. I'm quite confident. I'm trying to catch up in chat. The memberships are filling the chat a little bit. The Mount work rate could be perfect to play against Brighton. So that was a big theme of what I was talking about yesterday in my video and in my stream. The importance of the high press today. Against Brighton over the past couple of seasons, I'm aware that's been different managers, of course, De Zerbi and Potter. But a big problem we've had is getting the press right against Brighton. Quite simply, we haven't really. We've never really got the press right against them, and that's caused us a lot of problems. We need to get it right in this game because Brighton aren't quite as good in the first phase as what they have been in the past. Of course, it's early in the season under a new manager. They're just kind of settling in. I think if we can get the press right today, I think we can have a lot of success there. Now, that's not to say Xerxes can't do the pressing work as well. I absolutely think he can. I think he's really good on the press. But Mount is just up there as one of the very best in the world. Will Mount be the false nine or Bruno? I'm not too sure. To be honest, I think it will be something between the two. I don't know that we need to kind of shoehorn one of them into that position. I think they'll both play it. You could arguably call it a front two as well, rather than a striker as such. I think it will rotate quite a lot. Out of possession, it will very much be this sort of shape, I would expect. This kind of 4-2-4, 4-4-2, 4 hexagon, whatever you want to call it. I think it will be that sort of shape. Now, something interesting is that I've got Weaver on screen here, and he has actually been dropped, or he might be injured, but he is out of the team. I'm not sure what number Gilmore is, but Gilmore has come into the 11 for Brighton. And that does change things a little bit, because when we were talking about Brighton yesterday, we were talking about Weaver potentially being a weakness, being a trigger for us in the first phase, because last weekend he really struggled on the ball, really struggled. So the fact that Gilmore comes in is interesting, because I think Weaver is naturally the better footballer, but Gilmore is that better player in the first phase, which might just change things a little bit. Might change things. This is the first test of the season against a good footballing side. Yeah, I mean, I don't think last week was tricky, wasn't it? I don't think last week was easy by any means, but I think this is a step up again. I really like this Brighton team. I don't think they are perhaps quite as good as what they have been in the past couple of years. I think they've been really good in the past. But it's still a really nice team. Oh, great. Welbeck, our striker, our bogey striker. Yeah, I mean, at least they haven't got Pascal Gross anymore to put the ball in the back of the net against us, right? Because that man done that for way too many years. I am a little bit concerned about this game. I'm confident that we will win, but at the same time, we've just been burned by Brighton so many times over the past few seasons. Anyway, in terms of something to look out for in this game, we did go through this yesterday, but some of you may not have seen it, so we'll go through it kind of briefly. I'm expecting this sort of build-up structure. So we've got the two centre-backs splitting either side of the goalkeeper, kind of creating a back three, and then we've got this line of four in the middle. Now that line of four has changed with Gilmour coming into the team. He will naturally bring a bit more press resistance, a bit more of a first phase presence. But what you can see Everton doing here is nearly going man for man, because they've got their line of four here, which matches up with that Brighton four. And they've also got that front two as well. And I think United could take a lesson from that. I think United can use this to force Brighton to play one side of the pitch. And that's where United are actually quite effective defensively at times. I think there is going to be quite a big job for our wingers to do. I think they're going to have to get through their fair share of defensive work. But I would expect them to. I guess Rashford is the one where we would have the question. But, and again I said this yesterday, in pre-season we worked on, not necessarily a new pressing shape I wouldn't say, but we worked on new triggers. You know, the press does look different to what it did last season. So it kind of makes sense to get players in the team and keep players in the team who played in pre-season because they know the structure. So naturally, Garnacho may be a better presser than Marcus Rashford, but Rashford does have that kind of added advantage just at the moment. The fact that he did play in pre-season, so he understands the pressing structure. And the same for Mason Mount as well. He's been playing in this front too. There was an interesting comment from Ten Hag, was it last night or this morning? At some point, he said about Mason Mount can play a lot of different roles in this team, but it's more likely to be an attacking one rather than a defensive one. Now, obviously that sounds obvious because we know Mason Mount is naturally a more attacking player, but I found it quite interesting because what we saw in the first couple of games of pre-season, we saw it last season as well, and last pre-season, was Mason Mount playing deeper, kind of as a Kobbie Mainoo rotation player, if you like. I feel that those Ten Hag quotes really suggest this is Mason Mount's position. He's going to be a 10 for us, he's going to be a false 9 for us. He can do a job deeper if needed, but I do think we're going to see a higher, more attacking Mason Mount this season. And I think starting today, we have to see something there. I think we do need a better performance from him. He was good last week with his off-the-ball work. His intensity is insane. Just watch him in midfield. The amount of ground he covers is an absolute joke. But we do need a bit more on the ball from him. We do need a bit more. I understand this isn't naturally his best position. He doesn't want to be playing as a sort of false 9. Obviously, that isn't the role he wants to play. But we do need to see a little bit more. Because I did feel that the first half last week, we always looked dangerous. We always looked threatening. But we lacked that bit of cutting edge in the final third. You know, that player who we're going to turn to who's actually going to get us the goal. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes had several opportunities, and I think normally you back him to score. But I do fear for a slight lack of goals in this team would be one of my concerns. But again, because of how I think our threat is going to come about today, I think we'll be all right. I think we will be able to win the ball high, and that will do almost a lot of the creative work for us. You know, I'm not expecting a game here where Brighton park the bus and we try and break them down for 90 minutes. I'm not expecting them to completely dominate the ball. I'm expecting possession to be kind of 50-50-ish. Both teams looking to press high, trying to nick the ball off each other, and then attack quickly from there. That's kind of the game I'm expecting to see here. Nuruddin in the chat again with another donation. Thank you very much, sir. Saying, fear not, Casemiro will bring the goals. I got a feeling we score from a set piece. We get a set piece goal today, and to be honest, based on last week, Casemiro was the first contact on a lot of set pieces, so I could actually see a Casemiro goal. Casemiro or Maguire will score today. That's my belief. That's the feeling I got today. An Ahmad double? I mean, yes, please. I'm tipping Rashford and Mount to get on the score sheet soon. I think this will be a good barometer of where we're at. Don't find Brighton to be as intimidating as they used to be. I still think they're a really good side, obviously. They've got a lot of nice players in there. But they're not quite as good as what they were. And again, the fact that they've got a new manager in, it takes a little bit of time. it does take a little bit of time to kind of get the rhythm going, understand each other's game, and figure things out. So I think it's a good time to play them. Last week, they may have won 3-0 against Everton, but I really thought they looked quite questionable. I was not impressed by them at all. I was not impressed. I think where we're going to need to get it right is in here. When trying to play out from the back, I think if we can use these two in midfield, obviously it'll be Gilmore again, so there is more ball playing quality there. But if we can use these two in midfield as that trigger to kind of jump up to them, we could have a lot of success. I do think a lot of the focus today defensively, we're looking at Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount in the high block initially, I would assume. How we press from there, we're looking at those two. But also Casemiro and Kobe have got to do a good job of backing them up. Now, last week, we did for most of the game, to be fair. I think more of our issues probably came out wide last week defensively. I thought in the middle of the pitch, we actually looked quite compact and quite good. And, you know, like I said, there are errors here. There are errors in these areas. Everton dominated Brighton in the first half. Yeah, I mean, Everton should have been 1-0 up. They also had a goal disallowed as well. They missed a couple of really good opportunities. That could be a very different match if Everton go a couple of goals up. In terms of the goals that Brighton scored, yeah, a couple of them were nice, but there was also errors in those as well. So, yeah, the scoreline flattered them. I don't think they are quite as dangerous as what the scoreline looked last week. With what Ahmad has had to go through recently, I do hope he has an amazing game. Yeah, horrible news for obviously him and his family. Yeah, hopefully he can kind of not get out of his head, it's the wrong way of wording it, but hopefully he can kind of concentrate on the game. I think he'll be able to. He seems like that sort of guy. Mainu and Garnacho to score if Rashford doesn't. I mean, the bench threat is there. I haven't actually seen the bench today, but I'm going to assume it's strong. Let me have a quick look. I'm going to assume our bench is strong. I'm going to assume that we have some real players to kind of come in and make an impact. I will just quickly load it up 1 second and have a look. But before we get into that, we've got Ali in the chat. What an absolute legend. Ali in the chat with the $10 donation. It's so good to see you, mate. I hope you've been well. Let me know how what you thought of last weekend. He said, good morning, AJ, and the best community ever. Missed you all. Sorry been missing the streams due to timing. It's 3:30 AM and I am buzzing. Yeah, I do apologise for the new stream time. I might try and balance it out a little bit and do some streams at like 11 AM and some a little bit later to try and kind of cater for everybody. But yeah, I mean, 3:30 AM up for the game. That is dedication. I was doing all night as in pre-season to watch the games, and yeah, I don't envy that. It's tough. So I respect the dedication. But yeah, I'm good, thank you. And thank you very much for the donation. Guys, if you don't know Ali, if you're new to the channel, he's an absolute legend. So spam some love hearts in the chat to say thank you, because he's just an absolute king. I love the guy. 3:30 here in California. That is dedication. I mean, that alone deserves a good result, right? Anyway, just quickly looking at the bench. We've got Xerxes in there, obviously. I did see a couple of murmurs that he was going to start the game, but obviously not. Garnacho, huge threat. Anthony over Sancho again. I think Sancho's done, to be honest, based on kind of what we've heard the last few days. Scott McTominay, impact. Eriksen, Collier, Johnny Evans, De Ligt, and Bayindir. It's a strong bench. It's a strong bench. We've got some real options there. If the game isn't going our way, we've got impacts, but we've also got, you know, not just players that are going to come on and bring the same thing. We've got players that can come in and bring something a little bit different. So the fact that we can have Ahmad early on in the game who wants to come to feet, come towards the ball, kind of show that footwork in tight spaces. If it isn't working, we can bring him off and get Garnacho on, who wants to do something quite different. Bombing forward, going the other way, going out wide, taking the fullback on constantly. I think it's a really, really nice weapon for us to have. People keep kind of putting them up against each other. You know, who starts? Rashford, is it Garnacho, is it Ahmad? Who's better? Who should we play? It doesn't matter. The fact that all three of them will play most football matches is huge for us because they're three pretty gifted players. So I think it's a massive positive that we have all of them. Simon in the chat with a £2 donation. Simon, thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Maguire to have a good game again. I think he'll need to. I think last week he was kind of put into a bit of a physical battle at times, weren't he? And Maguire loves that. Today it might be something a little bit different for him. With the likes of Pedro and Welbeck getting in and around him, perhaps Matoma in transition as well. I think he's going to need to have a good game to help us defensively, obviously. But yeah, I'm confident in him. I believe in him. I always believe in Maguire. We got another donation in the chat as well with a $5. How do I pronounce your name, sir? I don't want to say your name wrong and be disrespectful to you. But thank you very much for the donation. Saying, keep going, AJ. Great content. You will soon have 1 million subscribers. I mean, if we can hit 1 million subscribers, we will be gassed. I'm aiming for 35k this year. 35k this year is the plan. I think we'll get there. We should get there. We should hit it quite quickly, actually. But yeah, that's been the big plan for this year. And we look like we're going to get there. Because of people like you supporting the channel. So thank you very much. Absolute legend. Absolute legend. Channel is flying. It really is. Yeah, David, I thought that the second I asked it. How do I... Yeah. I always do that. I ask how to pronounce something, and it's like, how are you meant to tell me? Did anyone see De Gea's first game for Fiorentina? I didn't. I saw the penalty just because people were laughing at him, but that's all I saw. Make sure to hammer out the shorts. Yeah, the shorts will be based on most games, to be honest. Most games we should have a short out afterwards. Hopefully breaking down a goal, you know, a winning goal again would be nice, but hopefully actually today we've got a couple of goals we can look at. If we could do like 3 shorts on 3 separate goals we've scored, I mean, that would be the dream, right? That would be an absolute dream. So yeah, that is the plan for sure. That is the plan. It's a cheat code. Yeah, I mean, the last one didn't actually view too well, but it's all just extra stuff, right? It's gets extra eyes on the channel, so that's what we want. Maguire off by the 60th minute, and De Ligt will come on. Yeah, I would expect something similar from Xerxes as well. I would like to see Xerxes brought on a little bit earlier. I can't remember exactly what minute he came on last week, but if we can get Xerxes on that pitch a little bit earlier, get that impact there, he can really do something. We've got more donations in the chat. What is going on today, guys? You are absolute legends. First of all, we've got Savage with the £2 donation. Thank you very much, sir. Greatly appreciated. Saying, isn't playing a high line a concern with Maguire? It is, in the sense that if he's caught out, you know, isolated 1v1, he can get turned at times and things like that. It's a concern in that sense. But actually, generally speaking, I think Maguire is quite capable in a high line. The system just has to be right around him. And, you know, we saw it last week, right? Our line was pretty high and Maguire dealt with it pretty well. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I wouldn't be too concerned. Again, maybe if Matoma gets in 1v1, yeah, then we're stressing a little bit. But generally speaking, with the system that we've been using, I'll cover it in a second, I think we should be all right. I think we should be all right. And then we've got another donation from Akash to £2. Thank you very much, sir. Greatly appreciated. Saying, I'm opting for a 1-1 here. I don't think that would be a terrible result. Away to Brighton, it's not an easy place to go. I think it depends on the performance that we get with it, right? If we play badly and draw 1-1, I think people would be quite disappointed. If we were to play pretty well and draw 1-1, I think people would take it. Performance is important at the moment. But thank you very much for the £2 donation. Very kind. And he said that he loved that bench. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. By the way, guys, we've got like 450 people in here at the moment. If you could please leave a like on the stream, it would be greatly appreciated. I don't mean to beg it, but if you do, it helps massively because it just sends the stream to more people, basically. It puts the channel in front of more people, which means we can do bigger and better content. Also, if you could subscribe, if you're new, it would be greatly appreciated. Again, don't feel you've got to. If you don't like it here, fair enough. But if you could, it does really, really help. Because the channel is doing really nicely at the moment. It'd be great if we could kind of keep going with that momentum. And I mean, hopefully, these boys we've got on the pitch here are going to help with that. Hopefully, they're going to give us a performance which helps with the momentum of this team. It's popping right now? Yeah, it fully is. Fully is. I'd like to see Mazraoui and the Anthony combination and see if it can help Anthony's game. I think if anyone can get more out of Anthony, it probably is going to be Mazraoui. And on that, I'd like to see a bit more of that today, you know. Mazraoui and Ahmad. Can those two kind of get cooking up? I thought Mazraoui had a really good game last week. Considering it was his first game, coming into a completely new system, a new team, a new league, a new environment. He'd only been here a few days. I thought he played really well. But what I would love to see him doing moving forward is connecting with Ahmad a little bit more. Our right-hand side at times felt a little bit just basic in the final third, I felt. I felt that when we got forward, we lacked proper synergy down this side. Now, again, it's natural. Mazraoui is new at the club. But hopefully we can see kind of those two developing and growing together this right-hand side could become super dangerous. Obviously, Ahmad had moments still where he's threatening, but I would love to see it get properly gelling down this side of the pitch. I'd like to see a bit more work down here. Kieran, good to see you, mate. How you doing? How you feeling about the game? We've got a couple more donations in the chat. You guys are just absolutely mental today. Ali, again, with a donation of $2. Thank you very much, sir. Saying 450 watching. By the way, those of you that have been here a while, is that a record? Is that our highest ever? 450 people. That's a good chunk of people. He said 450 watching and only 70 likes. Come on, guys. Listen to Ali. He's a sensible man. He knows what he's doing. Run those likes up if you can, please, and thank you. And then we got 10 penny with a £5 donation as well. Thank you very much, sir. Also, that red badge looks good with your membership. Saying, have a beer on me in the game, or a Capri Sun. I'm a Capri Sun man, personally. Thank you very much. Thanks for the content. Thank you for the support. And then I believe we had another donation as well. Thank you very much, sir. Saying a subscriber for 1 month today. Casemiro to sit a bit deeper today. Well, 1 month on the channel. Here's to many more, right? Here's to many more. Thank you very much for the donation. Very kind of you, sir. Just an absolute legend. Absolute legend. The support recently has been insane. We're about to hit 32,000 subscribers. We're very close. It is a record. The channel is doing so well at the moment. So just to take a second, thank you very much to you guys. Thank you very much to you guys. Have we just hit 32k? Did we just hit it? Or are we about to? We're close. We've hit it? That's insane. That is insane. You'll have a beer. Have a beer for me, mate. Have 2. Treat yourself. If we win, have 3. And to celebrate, by the way, if we've just hit 32k, and it's almost like the man knows, because Nuruddin has spawned in again and dropped another 50 gifted memberships. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, that means the man has done 200 in about, what, the last 25 hours. So he has gifted memberships to 200 people on this channel. 200. Now, the membership means that you get custom emojis and stuff that you can use in the chat. So check them out and put them in the chat to say thank you. But also, the streams that normally get taken down from the channel once they're finished, if you're a member, you can still see them. So, yeah. Nuruddin, just legend. Thank you so much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Mr. Analysis, how are United going to score in this game? Well, as you've addressed me as Mr. Analysis, I will tell you, because that is my real name. If I can just quickly find the clips. Bear with me 1 moment. So we'll talk about Brighton out of possession, how they're going to approach the game. Brighton are a modern day football team. They want to apply pressure to the ball. We saw this last weekend. Now, of course, the sample size is small at the moment. We've only seen 1 game from them in the Premier League this season. But the way they looked to press in this game was, initially it looked like a 4-4-2. And at times it was really aggressive. But not always. Not always. Because here we've got the front 2. And we've got the right winger is going to come over to apply pressure down here. We've got the right winger come towards the ball. But we also have James Milner in midfield kind of supporting the press. So he's ready to come over to support. Now, when this happens, you would normally expect the other midfielder to also be joining them in the pressure. Right? Naturally, you would normally expect that. But what happens here is Everton go long. And it actually captures something interesting for us. Because we're going to see the ball go long from Mykolenko. And yes, this is slightly blurry because the ball is flying long over the top of the pitch. But you will see it in midfield here. This is James Milner who had connected to the press. This was the other midfielder. Now, it was Weaver last week. This week is going to be Gilmore, so it might be slightly different. But I do think this was tactical instruction. He wasn't joining the press. Normally, you might expect him up here. In a proper man-to-man press, he could have been up here. But you will notice, actually, it was the winger doing that job. And we do have another situation that looks like that. If we move it on here. So again, we've got the front 2 pressing. And again, we have a very similar situation where they're going to try and force you to play one side. So João Pedro is going to step up and just kind of gradually cut that passing lane. Pickford is quite easy to manipulate on the ball. You can force him where you want him a lot of the time. And he does. He kind of takes the bait. He plays this side of the pitch. And Brighton want to lock you on. And we can see it now. Brighton are locking on. But again, normally you might expect a midfielder to be coming into this position in here. Onto this guy. You would normally expect a midfielder to be doing that. But Brighton almost press one man down because the winger instead is the man responsible for coming into this position over here. So Milner is locked on man for man. We've got the winger is locked on man for man. But again, the other side, it's not the midfielder connecting it. It is the winger, which is going to be interesting because this other midfielder, you'll see him just off screen there. If they don't connect to the press, United could have some joy. Now, I'm not going to say we are the most elite team in the world playing out from the back. We're absolutely not. We do have our own problems. But we also have some really, really gifted players in these deep areas. Now, if the outfield players, right, we've got one more than them already. So if with the outfielders, let's put a system like this. Yeah, let's put them in their front two as they press. And let's say Milner's a little bit higher, Gilmore's a little bit deeper. So if you just count the players in this area here, right, over here, you will see we've got one extra outfielder, Casemiro, technically spare. So that's a bonus for us. That's a big up point. But also, we have this man in goal. Now, we haven't necessarily always seen it since he joined United, but this guy is unbelievable on the ball. He is unbelievably good on the ball. It's almost a +2 there. Now again, they might switch it up this week. They might be a little bit different. Gilmore might join higher, or the whole team might drop deeper. I'm not too sure. But if we are basing it on what they've done last week, there is that option for the extra man. I wonder if you could even consider swapping Casemiro and Kobe. And let Kobe, I said this yesterday and it might sound daft, but actually initially start a little bit higher and then float into that space to really ask that question of Gilmore. Because when Kobe starts high, Gilmore will be quite happy with that. It's as he moves deeper, does he want to follow him? I'm not so sure he does. And if he does, Ahmad can pose a question as well. Because Ahmad loves to come into that space. We saw it a lot in pre-season, right? Ahmad was almost moving into midfield at times. This could cause problems for Brighton. We could get ourselves 2v1 in this little pocket of space here. And if we can do that, it's huge. Ten Hag has staggered the midfield anyway. I think this will happen. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what way around Casemiro and Kobe play in terms of who's left centre mid, who's right centre mid. But like you said, that staggered approach has been big for us. And I really think it could be huge in this game. I'm kind of predicting that's going to be the talking point tactically after the game. Our staggered midfield causing problems and maybe opening up spaces for someone like Ahmad. Particularly if you can also manipulate and stagger the other way as well. Now Ahmad really has space. So I do think this is something to look at in this game. I think we could see this being really dangerous. Josh, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Do we know why there's no UEFA? No, I haven't seen anything, but I haven't looked either, so yeah, no idea. Is the show going till 12? To be honest, we'll be live until we run out of things to talk about, to be completely honest with you. I need a clean sheet. I have a full United defence. You need a clean sheet then, mate. Yeah, no idea why there's no UEFA in midfield. I'm going to assume he's injured because I believe he's not on the bench either, so I'm gonna guess that. Waffler never runs out of stuff to say. Very true. I just can't talk in the first place. Like De Zerbi, this manager also likes to use the 4-2 shape with the fullbacks holding the width to play out from the back. So how aggressive should we be against potential 7 players in their deep phase? Well, let me go back to it 1 second. Let me find the clip real quick. I should also say, by the way, this part isn't sponsored. But what I'm using here is Once Video Analyzer. It is a really good software. They haven't paid me to say that, but it is actually really good. So if you want to check it out, do that because it is quality. Yeah, so this is what we're talking about with that Brighton play-out phase. I think our shape worked quite nicely. I think it, like what we've been doing in pre-season, actually suits this. Because if we move over here, let's switch it up. Let's put Brighton in their kind of deep phase now. Get Milner and Gilmore dropping in. Did I say that right? I feel like I didn't. What United have done in pre-season quite a lot is gone for this sort of shape here. And like I said, a lot of people have called it a hexagon shape, and obviously you can see why. There is quite clearly a front six there for United. Now, the concern always is going to be that technically Brighton have the extra man because of having Steele in goal. But what we saw last week in their first game against Everton was that they didn't really use it that much. This isn't the same Brighton team of 2 years ago that is kind of elite playing out from the back. It's not the same team. So I don't know that the +1 with the goalkeeper is hugely vital. My concern is more actually when they split their centre-backs really wide. United might have more of a problem. But what I would personally do, I think, going into this game is do what we've done in pre-season and start off with a high block rather than a high press. So the difference is kind of, if we are in a high press, we are actually constantly kind of engaging the ball, looking to get towards them, put them under pressure. Whereas a high block, we are still in our high position, but we're not actually letting them play through. So we're not engaging super high, we are blocking passing lanes more and doing things like that. I think that could work really well with what we've been doing, plus how Brighton look to play. Obviously, we can still trigger to the press as well. Again, in pre-season, that trigger tended to be some sort of negative touch from one of the centre-backs, or a negative pass, perhaps passing sideways to a centre-back, or backwards to a centre-back. We can then be more aggressive from there. If we kind of curve our movement in the right way, we can force Brighton to one side of the pitch. This is when the midfielders then join as well, connecting it. Now we're fully man-to-man. Now we are aggressive, and we're looking to squeeze up like this, force Brighton to one side. You use your touchline up here as one of your defenders. Touchline is the best defender in football, I will always say that. And this is where we can now lock on and be aggressive. So I don't think there is a need for us to be aggressive straight away. You know, when Steele's got the ball in goal, I don't think we need it. But I think once that ball has gone wide, once those triggers are there, hopefully we see them in this game. Hopefully that's when we can lock on. The other thing here is the conversation about Maguire earlier. Who was it who had the donation earlier asking about Maguire? First of all, again, thank you very much for the donation. But can Maguire play in a high line? I think he can in this system. Because in this system, the fullbacks aren't always flying forward to connect to the press. And I think that can be useful because, you know, if your fullback does connect all the way, that's when your centre-backs can get dragged out. And that's when I would have a Maguire question, really. But if we press like this, and we can do it effectively, Maguire's man-to-man high-line work should be in the middle of the pitch a little bit more, rather than being pulled out wide all the time. They play with quite a wide centre-back setup with the pivot dropping deep. It was quite inconsistent in the way that they done it last week. They done it last week at times and it worked really nicely. And again, that's why I wouldn't engage in the press too early, because let's kind of have a look at how that works. If you split your centre-backs really wide like this, as a front two, it's incredibly difficult to press because the space is just too vast. There is too much ground to cover. It is difficult to do that defensive work. This is why I wouldn't suggest we go man-to-man when Steele's got the ball. This is when I would rather we were sitting like this more. You know, we keep speaking about this kind of box in the middle here. That's what I would be sticking with for this game. But I do think once that ball is gone, we can use that as the trigger. Because I think Mount in particular is really intelligent with the way that he presses, and obviously intense as well. Bruno doesn't always have the same intelligence to go with it, but again, is an intense player in the way that he presses. So that would be my plan. Rather than being so aggressive so early, wait and then press when the trigger is there. Because like you said, if we do it all the time, those wide centre-backs are a problem, and they do make our life quite difficult. I think something else which could become difficult at times is if they drop to a solo pivot, which again they did do last weekend. They switched to kind of a more of a 4-3-3. This asks different questions of our midfield. You know, the pressing triggers change, the second a shape changes. So again, that's something we have to watch out for in this game, because what United sometimes do under Ten Hag is press really well for 25-30 minutes, and then suddenly we lose it, and we kind of sit here wondering what went wrong. A lot of the time, we see the opposition will make a small tweak, and we don't always react to that. And Brighton are a team that could do that, because we've seen already they tend to be in the 2-4, but when it doesn't work, they are happy to switch to more of a solo pivot. And the idea behind this is now you've got two players marking one, which means someone is probably free somewhere else. Something we have to consider. Thank you, someone actually talking about football. Hey, that's what we tried to do on the channel. We tried to do it. Wait, how many likes did I just see? We're on 185 likes. Can we possibly hit 200 likes this stream? Because we've got over 500 people in here at the moment, which is insane. I think that is a record, so shout out you guys. Thank you very much. Can we get to 200 likes? Also, actually, we've got so many new people here today. It's time to do a bit of plug-in. We do have a Discord server. Completely free to join. There's probably people talking in it right now. There is. I'm going to mute them. Yeah, we have a Discord server. Hopefully someone will link it in the chat in a second. But we discuss everything there. There will be chat throughout the match. So, yeah. Join that. There's going to be transfer talk, scouting talk, tactical talk, talk on other games, FPL, gaming. We might be playing pro clubs tonight if anyone wants to join that. Yeah. Join the Discord server. It is good. There might be a link in the description, actually. Check. I'm not sure. Also, we've got adverts coming up. I'm going to skip them because no one wants to watch adverts. Get out of here. Bosh. There you go. So David has just linked it in the chat. Discord server. Like I said, completely free. Completely free. So you might as well check it out. Whoa, I just woke up to a notification that I was gifted a membership. That's because, mate, you are part of an incredible community. These guys are all absolute legends. So yeah, at any moment you could get a gifted membership from these guys. Are you doing a watch along as well? I am not doing a watch along simply because for the games, it's tradition. I always watch them with my brother. Every game for the last however many years now. So I won't be doing a watch along. Also because I've actually got to analyse the game as we go through as well. Perhaps if there is a reason that it changes for one particular game, we could do a one-off watch along maybe one day. But it's quite unlikely, I'll be honest. Quite unlikely. The Discord just involves Beef saying questionable things. Yeah. Not gonna lie, if you join right now, you're gonna be greeted with some pretty questionable. What's Beef doing? Beef, I'm gonna ban you, mate. It's good to see a lot of people starting to watch channels like you, not just listen to mainstream media. Yeah, mainstream media is questionable, right? It's something. It's something. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to get in trouble in case I get invited someday. Is a final a good game to do a watch along for? It could be, right? Honestly, if there's just any game where situations change, then I will do it, but it's unlikely at the moment. I'm not going to commit to it. Anyway, I think what we need to get to is things like score predictions. Score predictions. Thoughts on the game. Substitutes. Impacts. What are we expecting from this? Do you think the central progression problem is not going to go away? I think it will improve as the season goes on. Because naturally our players will click more, will gel a bit more, will get more sharpness. I think when it comes to progressing the ball through the middle of the pitch, it is really difficult. Naturally, it is the most compact part of the pitch. It's where the most players are. It is incredibly difficult to move the ball into those positions, move the ball through the lines, find the pockets of space. So naturally, it's going to take time to gel there. So over time, I think we'll improve. At the same time, I'm not sure Ten Hag is ever going to put a massive focus on it. You see, we talk about the 3-1-6 formation or the 3-diamond-3 at times, right? Ignore the personnel we've got in the shape, but actually just the formation itself. What am I doing? Let's give ourselves a diamond in here. I am completely lost as to what I was trying to do. I have butchered that horribly. Anyway, let's say we're kind of in this shape. I think a lot of people would look at this shape and say the benefit is the diamond in midfield. You know, you've got 4 players. Most teams defend with 2 or 3. You can overload that part of the pitch. Absolutely. But something I spoke about last weekend after the game is that actually the effect of this shape a lot of the time is that you actually just drag the opposition really narrow. So you almost make life more difficult for yourself in the middle of the pitch. However, it does open up that easy, wide access point. Sandro Martinez to Rashford, Mazraoui to Ahmad. It does open up easy progression out wide, and I think this is what Ten Hag likes. He likes to see that quick work in these wider positions where we can now rotate. Can we turn this 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 in these areas? I think that's what Ten Hag likes to do, because I think it's quicker. I think Ten Hag likes to try and narrow off the opposition to then give us that wider space to exploit. Now, I don't mean that means we're always hugging the touchline, because obviously we do see quite little width at times in the final third. But I think he wants us to have those quick access points out wide. Then we can come back in the pitch. So you almost go round the opposition's block rather than through it. You go round it, and then Ahmad, you know, he might continue going round, he might take his man on, or now we can go inside. And this is where those runs off the ball are so important. And that's where the diamond shape we've got from the 3-1 is quite useful, because you do get players into these positions. I think this is what Ten Hag likes us to do at the moment. That might change, but I do like this idea. Pretty sure making it narrow is what Ten Hag wants, to be fair. Yeah, I think he wants to force the opposition narrow because of that outside space. Now, in terms of us taking greater advantage of that, it does put a bit of pressure on our defensive players, because they've got to find the right passes, they've got to find the right spaces, and the weight of pass and things like that is important. I think it's where Licha is a very important player for us. I think his on-the-ball work can be elite, or is elite, on its day. I don't think it was at its best last weekend. Again, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't have a pre-season. I think, again, the second we see Licha warming up, getting sharper, really clicking, again, we go to the next level on the ball. And probably the same for Mazraoui on the other side as well. When these guys are given responsibility, freedom to step forward with the ball, pick up these spaces, we're going to be dangerous because we'll manipulate teams more. So, generally speaking, I'm still really excited about this United team in possession. I'm still worried about the first phase. I think we need a lot of work there to become more consistent. But actually, when we get here and then attack, a lot of people didn't like what we saw last week. I actually did. I think it needs work. I think some of that will come from player sharpness. Some of that needs to come from instruction from Ten Hag. But I think the blueprint is there. We just need to kind of grow and level it up a little bit and take it to the next level. Licha needs to start stepping into midfield with the ball. Things like that. You can get behind the opposition quite a lot with just a clever bit of movement. Also, if your left centre-back is suddenly really high, it changes the question for this guy here. Is he now narrow with his midfield? Is he meant to be stepping out to apply pressure? If he does step out, that's when the diamond in midfield then becomes really dangerous. So yeah, I think you're spot on. These wider players having that higher starting position helps us progress out wide, but actually also through the middle as well. But I think that will naturally happen when the players are sharper and a bit more confident in their own ability. I'm worried about Matoma. Minter and Matoma could be the danger men. They're dangerous. They're really dangerous. 1v1, they're going to be a problem. They're both great 1v1 dribblers. Is Adingra on the bench again because he's quality. He is quality. He's a threat. Welbeck just loves scoring against us. And I love Welbeck, man. He's such a good player. Pedro as well. He's a goal threat. Brighton carry a threat for sure. But I'm of the opinion today, I think we actually just carry more threat than them. I think we will be more dangerous. I'm quite confident. I think we win 2-0, 3-1, something like that. I think we'll win by 2 goals. I think we'll win by 2 goals is my opinion for today. Let's get on to that. Score predictions in the chat. Is Chad here today? If not, we're not going to get our usual 6-1. I'm not worried about Pedro, to be honest. Take away his penalties and his goal scoring record isn't too good. Yeah, it's more his presence as he arrives into the box that concerns me. Not necessarily always direct goal output. It's the way that he arrives. It's the way that he arrives. You've probably already answered this, but what do you think about the starting 11? I don't mind it. It's the starting 11 I had in yesterday's video. If you watched it, I'm not too mad at it. I would have liked to have seen De Ligt in there. I would have liked to have seen Xerxes. But we've also got to understand we've got to manage these players. These are players that didn't play pre-seasons. So, yeah, we have got to bed them in, slowly get them into the team. So, I don't think it's too much of a problem. I think we'll be alright. Let's go through some of these score predictions. I'm seeing quite a mixed bag here. We've got 2-0 United, 2-1 United, 2-2, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 1-0, 3-0. No chance we win this game. 32-0. I mean, it could happen. Wait, did I miss a message from David earlier, actually? I've got a feeling I missed a message and never went back to it. We did. David, I'm so sorry, mate. David gifted or donated earlier. I do apologise for missing this, saying, congrats on the 32k, AJ. What a community this is. I completely agree. I remember reading it and wanting to go back to it, and I never went back to it. So I do apologise. Very sorry about that, mate. But thank you for the donation. Very kind, as always. Just all of you are absolute legends. All of you. It's all good. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, all right, I'm going to finish my point and then read it out, and just forgot to. An Eric Ten Hag brace, says Callum. That's ball knowledge for you right there. For those of you that don't know, Callum is my brother, so insult him if you want to. Have we got any goal scorers, do we reckon? Bruno will have to be clinical if he's up top. Please, I would do anything for a clinical United team. I think if we're clinical, we can be good. We can be good, we can hurt them. We can hurt them. Anyway, I think that is quite a nice place to wrap up this stream. Callum is better at clubs than you, AJ. Kieran, that is dry ball knowledge, mate. That is dusty. We need some personal Q&A with AJ. I don't know if we do. I'm a very private man. Was you this confident at the start of last season? After about 6 minutes against Wolves, no. All the confidence was gone. Callum has the heart. He has something, I tell you. When it comes to clubs, he has something. Sub predictions. McTominay will come on at some point, I would imagine. Again, we've still got the likes of Cobby, who's probably not fully there yet, fully sharp, fully fit. Xerxes will come on, I would hope. I want to see him because I just like watching him. Garnacho as well. Garnacho is the one to watch in this game. I think Hinshelwood, I'd be lying if I've said I've seen a lot of him as a player. But I just feel like, I don't know, Ahmad going at him for 60 minutes and then getting Garnacho on at him. Yeah, there's danger there. AJ, have you heard of UPTV? You guys are my favourite creators. Yeah, Sam is quality. Good content. Very good content. And good streams as well. Ahmad scoring today. Yes. Please. Yes, please. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go 2-0. Ahmad and Bruno. Because Bruno said last week that he's going to make it up to the people who had him in their FPL. And I was one of those. So Ahmad and Bruno to score our goals. Here's my prediction. Although actually, you know what, I'm going to go... But I said one of Maguire or Casemiro will score as well. You know what, I'll go Bruno and then Maguire or Casemiro from a set piece. That's what I reckon. That's what I reckon. Anyway, guys, I think we are going to wrap the stream up there. It has been a quality one, but because we done a stream yesterday, we done a video yesterday, and this, we've kind of run out of stuff to talk about with Brighton. I mean, actually, we've got one more thing to talk about. It's called A Legend in the Chat, and his name is Ali because he's just dropped another $10. You guys today have been insane. Insane. Ali, thank you very much, sir. Let's win this game and play Liverpool with 6 points in the bag. That's what we need. Momentum at the start of the season would be incredible for us. We need that. Big up AJ. Big up AJ. What a great feeling to be back. It's been good to have you back, mate. I'm going to try and stream before games more often, so hopefully you can join a lot of them. And I might change the stream schedule at times during the week as well to get different people in. What a community. This is my home and my haven. Well, Ali, it is your home. You are always welcome here, sir. Absolute legend. Absolute legend. Appreciate it. The kindness of this community is insane. You guys, all of you, are legends. We've had over 500 people in here at times today. We've got 248 likes. We've had over 100 gifted memberships. We've had like over £35 donated. And the chat has been non-stop. It has been non-stop. The messages have not stopped today. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I can't put into words how much I appreciate it. You guys genuinely are all legends. So yeah, hopefully the boys are going to go give us a nice result to continue the happy vibe. Hopefully they give us a good performance as well. Oh yeah, also, we hit 32k today. 32k subscribers. 32,000 of you. That's an insane amount of people to picture. Imagine it's 32,000 people sitting in front of you and you're talking to them. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, the Discord is linked at the top of the chat, so make sure you join that as well. It's completely free. I will be in there at some point throughout the day and hopefully tonight as well. Although we'll have to see. So yeah, if you want to chat to me more, head over to the Discord. If you want to chat to these amazing people in the chat, they are always in the Discord. The notifications are non-stop. But of course in a good way. So yeah, check out the Discord. I think we're going to stop there though. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for the support. The boys are going to go give us a nice result. And I will see you this evening probably for a video breaking down this game. and hopefully breaking down a nice little 2-0, 3-0 win with a quality performance. Sounds like a good Saturday to me. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.